Welcome back to Real Ag Radio. I am Lindsay Smith, your host for the day. And joining me now, it's Paul Hermans with Pioneer Seeds Canada. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing great. Going into the Christmas holidays, looking forward to a break and, setting up for next year as well, though, Lindsay.
Yeah, I know we're taking this time to reflect, but also look forward. And so let's talk about that today. First, let's reflect. How did the year go? What lessons did we learn agronomically?
Well, I think overall, most guys were really happy with corn and soybean yields and everything else. But as we get into this winter month, it's really good, opportunity. What worked, what didn't work. Go back, look at yield maps, sit down with other family members, people you're working with, and take a deeper dive and think about that for next year because next year is going to come quick and we really have to start planning for it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that we're going to have the same winter as last year, Paul, which was no winter, where we were jokingly saying, "Hey, maybe we could plant in March." I feel like we're going to get a more real winter this year.
I hope so too. Even
Yeah,
for the skiers, the snowmobilers, a lot of guys want to get out there and get going for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, now we did have a few challenges this past year, and one of the ones I want to touch on is tar spot.
Sure.
Um, the two of us are in Eastern Ontario. Did it show up in Eastern Ontario this year?
So far, I have not heard of a definite location that was in Eastern Ontario. Now,
Right.
Quebec had lots of areas.
Right.
New York State south of us, up to Belleville, Picton area had it.
Right.
So it's all around us. But that's
Yeah.
something that I'm talking with customers about. We have to respect this disease. It's going to come. What's your plan to deal with it? Because there's genetics in terms of hybrids that have better tolerance, but then also a fungicide. And a
Yeah.
lot of people just have not sprayed before, don't have the equipment. So what's the plan when it comes?
Hmm.
And I think for our area, 2025 we'll probably see it. Most likely you won't have to spray, but it's 2026 and beyond. The experience from Southern Ontario and other areas, once they see it the first year, the second they have to deal with it. So that's
Yeah.
a big topic. Over turkey dinner, we're going to buy a new sprayer, dad, or whatever, or that kind of stuff. So lots to talk
Or,
about.
yeah, or perhaps the custom sprayer in your neighborhood needs a phone call earlier than later
It,
to see if
it,
they've got capacity.
exactly. Because if we do get to the disease, it's a short window, 7 to 10 days. So we got to get the whole area,
Right.
potentially sprayed. That's a lot of acres.
Yeah. So when do we anticipate that the control window would be at least at the early stage or earliest? What is the control window? Because I know this
So
year it went
there's
long.
different things, but we talk about that tassel time. A lot of stuff work in the U.S. says that R2, so just at the blister stage, that kind of stuff. But again, that's a short window.
Yeah.
We have tar spot, we have other diseases out there. If I'm a silage person, I want to have it more earlier on. So it all depends on the situation. But generally, that I'm going to say tassel to R2 stage is when we want to look at application and controlling tar spot.
Okay, so now that of course, then if I'm a corn grower, I maybe add that to my list of the things to ask my rep about as far as genetics or management, those sorts of things. This is also a time of year where you as a team get to see some of the cool stuff that happened with new, let's say, corn and bean
Yep.
varieties out there. Anything super exciting coming down the pipeline
Yeah.
overall that you want to talk
So,
about?
so last week we had Santa bring our gifts in the seed business. We always have new corn varieties, corn hybrid soybean varieties. So we got two new soybean products, and then for my area, three new corn one.
Okay.
They're exciting because they always bring that yield level up. And then we're focusing a lot, on the earlier ends. We got tar spot scores now basically for our products. I'm starting to bring that into the play for Eastern Ontario. So that's exciting. And
Yep.
we start gearing up thinking about plots, where we're going to position them, who with. That all starts in January. And then, January we ask our reps for seed production for 2027, right? So it keeps rolling on
Mm-hmm.
and ahead, right? And it's continually excitement for me though.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does seem like it gets earlier every year when you have to make decisions. So, one question I have for you for today, in thinking about looking back and looking forward, thinking about perhaps yield maps, soil maps, mapping in general, what's your advice on sort of what you take from this year and try to apply to next year when it comes to, what some of those maps can tell you?
So I like looking at maps, but I like looking at multiple years of maps just to get an idea. Is it just a 1 year wonder with all the rain we had? I was with a customer today heavy clay soils didn't have the drainage, the worst yields in that particular field. Other ones were fine, right? But
Right.
we can learn lots from maps, do what we call like a lasso, go in a certain area, see what's going on, match it with, application, fungicide, no fungicide, and really learn and use that to build better maps like variable rate fertility, seeding, all that kind of stuff, I think, going forward down the road.
Mm-hmm. So if you don't have good maps, maybe that's your resolution for 2025. Get better maps.
Exactly. Or get into that variable rate overall,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, exactly. There's
Yield
potential
maps,
there. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah. All right. Okay. And finally then, Paul, what are you looking forward to most for 2025?
it's again expanding the yield window, helping customers with it. I'm not looking forward to tire spot, but realize it's something that I'm going to have to really start watching out for and talking more to customers about. But that's just a fact of life, and we can manage it, we can deal with it. But it's every year's got challenges. Mother Nature always throws different weather patterns. But at the end, I think if we do the right things on the front end, we should hopefully get good results on the back end.
Absolutely. All right. Paul Hermans, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thanks, Lindsay. Merry Christmas.
Yes, and Merry Christmas to you.